That's running now. The first grade here is a pinkish grade. That's what I was going for. So you should see a pinkish a pinkish tint on the video. Alright, something which is subtle, something which is in the background, but something which can still be a signature look for your production. Alright, something which will give your film its own aesthetic. So that's what this is. It's like a nice pinkish light layer over the video. I haven't gone following any specific rules, no Rec 709 or blah blah blah. My perspective, when it comes to filmmaking, you can do whatever you want. Honestly, there are no rules, just do what you fancy, yeah? So there it is. I mean, to most people, they'll just watch that. They won't even really see that there has been a specific grade thrown over this. But that's the idea of colour grading sometimes. In fact, probably often. It's not something which should jump out at you and say this has been colour graded. Also, again, had this been in different lighting situations, I could have gone further with the creativity. Maybe some teal and orange, some other bits like that. But I'm sure you can definitely see the pink hue in there, while still maintaining other colours in the video, like my skin tone, the contrast in my black t-shirt there, the contrast in the image behind. It's not just washed pink, if you know what I mean, but it's present in the frame and in the image. So that is the first grade. Alright, get a good look. We're moving on to the next one in just a second. This is filmed mostly, not mostly, some clips in this are 4K, so this video will be uploaded in 4K, because yeah, some of the clips in there were 4K, not all of them were. Anyway, grade number 2. I'm sure you can see the colour of this grade. It's a greenish, almost like a lime, like a greenish colour on that one. Alright, this one may appear slightly more awash with the colour, alright, but it's another grade there which, had you not just analysed this with a pinkish tint on it, then you may not see this as such a strong colour really, and again it may be construed as something which is quite natural, and as a result something which is quite subtle, which again works towards what you want from grading footage. Of course, people go miles and miles on this, don't they, where they'll highlight sections and they'll grade that a certain way, they'll get the highlights and they'll colour just the highlights a certain way, and these are things which I will do when I get the phone. Because I'll have the freedom to do it in more locations than just this one. Have you guessed how I did this yet? I'm sure you've put it together by now. Guys, the crowds in the store were like all there for the 15 Pro Max. Everyone was like, all these tables pretty much are all just like 15 Pro Max. Well, 15 Pro, all the rest of it. In this shot here, you can see it looks maybe a touch less contrasty than the last grade, which this is looking a little bit closer to the actual log footage in a way, if you know what I mean. But sometimes I do want a low contrast image. Sometimes that's the look I'm going for. Maybe you're going for something a little bit dreamlike, and if you are, dreamlike sequences tend to be lower contrast, not high contrast. They tend to be washed out colours. Just an example of what you can do, where you can go. Alright, so this is like the green, the limeish grade. Alright, so that's that one, and on to the next one coming up any second now. Okay, this one, So this next one is more of a balanced image. This is just what things looked like when I was there. All I've done here is added contrast and I've added saturation, which is basically what you will do to color correct log footage. The basics are throw the contrast back into it, manipulate the darker parts of the image to get those back to where they should be, and then put the saturation back in, put the color back in. That's basically it. So this is how it actually looked when I was there. So this for me is very much what you would get, let's say, if you were doing something like a news report, documentary. This is the kind of footage you'd go for. In a way, it kind of looks kind of boring because there's no creative flair added to it, creative touch added to it. But you could add your own subtle touch to this footage. But yeah, this right here is basically a balanced image, probably quite close to Rec 709. Maybe one day I'll have a look at what that is. As far as I know, that's just bringing it to a color corrected image. Not interested, to be honest. If I've got log footage, I want to manipulate it myself. I don't mind if everything that I make has its own individual unique look. Maybe that's what I want. And in the end, I'll have a collection of looks which I like. And maybe I'll release LUTs one day. Maybe you'll see me offering LUTs to you guys. So that is balanced, alright. Maybe I could have added a touch more contrast there for my t-shirt, but that may have been a little bit OTT. Sometimes this screen which I look at here, at the moment which I'm referring to, requires a certain angle for me to see accurately. So I actually think that the contrast in this shot is bang on. It's just the angle that I'm looking at it makes it look a little less contrasty. Guys, the log footage is really good. I'll talk about what breaks my heart in a second. And here we go. This is the actual log footage coming out of the phone camera directly. So this is how it looks. All right, very washed out, very low saturation. But to be honest, to be completely transparent with you, in certain situations, that's not unusable, guys. You wouldn't use that, but that's not unusable. I wouldn't say that that's unusable, but you wouldn't use it. Now then, while you're looking at this pure log footage, let me tell you what breaks my heart, guys. You can only use this when filming ProRes, isn't it? So you can only use log when you're filming the massive file sizes. And what they say is right, guys. Like, this is multiple gigs of like data in these clips. They're very, very small clips, guys. They're like less than a minute on each. I didn't want to make them all 4K either because I had to get these and airdrop them from the phone in the shop here to mine. And I was like, I don't want to be standing here all day to do this airdrop. But one thing, guys, the airdrop was rapid. The airdrop was quick. It was that quick that, like, I wasn't even concerned. I wasn't even there for ages. So yeah, the file size thing is an issue for me, and I think that they're going to release that to the other file formats, smaller file formats, so smaller codecs and that. In maybe the next iPhone or the one after that. So it's going to be something that you pay for and you wait for if you want it. So those are the grades. Alright, now I'm just going to put them all side by side. Watch this crash my computer. Alright, because I want you to be able to see them. I think that it's best when you can compare them. I know that people often do those like transitions through the grade and that lot, but I had my own way of doing it. So 1 second as we move this along. And this is definitely going to crash my computer. Please run. Yeah, running. That'll do the trick. So here we are now, and these are the grades. Now, when you have a look, the pinkish one, bottom left corner, you can see the pink in that. All right, it's kind of clear when you look at the rest. Now, grade number 2, top left, and balanced, top right. Them two look kind of similar, let's be honest. Them two look like the same image overall. And that's because, according to balanced there, the day was just like that. The day was just that colour in that shop. And so when I added a grade on grade 2, that greenish grade, it's subtle, so it's not much. So yeah, those two images are quite close together, kind of by design in a sense. It's just because grade 2, the greenish one, is a subtle grade, and the colours that were around on that day already were of that nature. But when you look at all 3 of those grades and compare them to the log footage, you can see just how the log footage is desaturated, yet it keeps all the data you need to make a brilliant image from it. And of course, looking at that, you can see the impact of the pinkish creative grade on there. All right. Now that could have been any colour, could have been pink, could have been blue, could have been yellowy, world's your oyster. And that is the magic of colour grading, and that's the brilliance which iPhone has brought to their mobiles. And I can just see these being used for more and more creative works. Did you know that iPhones are used in Hollywood, right, for reference shots? So they'll go somewhere and they'll film a certain sequence, maybe even in a rehearsal, and they'll film it as like a reference shot. After that, they'll go away and they'll come back and they'll film it with the actual big camera. Now, there are situations when the actor's performance was better in the reference shot used by the iPhone, and they'll just go with it and they'll use the iPhone's footage, and it cuts in with the footage from the actual camera. Now, these will probably be TV productions, but I believe they've been using movies too, and it just cuts in together. And this is before iPhone 15 Pro Max. So Hollywood's already been doing this. Big budget productions have already been using iPhones. They're only going to use it more. Not only will it be used more in big productions, but this is going to elevate the production value, the production standard, production quality of smaller productions. Smaller creators, small production houses are going to massively benefit from what iPhone have created here. Because the things that can be created now with a smaller budget, £1,000 phone, and you can make studio quality things if you use it correctly. Absolutely fantastic, absolutely magnificent. The space is a thing which needs tackling, but the quality is unquestionable. Magnificent. iPhone log, you have absolutely smashed it. Brilliant idea, brilliant job. When you get that phone, wrap it in all the cotton wool in the world, make it into a cushion if you want, and just take care of that phone, because that phone is so much more than a phone. Anyway guys, I've got to run. Catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and I will catch up with you guys soon. See you later.